many details of those games, but what is very cool is that they've played 18 series against each other historically. And of course, some bigger than others. 9-9 historically. How cool is that? And in maps, it's 30 versus 29 in favor of this man. Really goes to show that throughout their careers, they've been incredibly evenly matched.
Neck and neck, and we're going to see if one horse can start to pull ahead of the other here. Down in the bottom right side of the map, in the red, the Protoss player, it's Dragon Kaiser Gaming's herO.
herO's been in very good spirits throughout the week, but he does know that this is going to be a difficult one. Even if he had a couple of victories over this man, he always rates him very highly, and he knows it's going to be difficult. In the top left side, representing Basilisk, it's Reynor. And I gotta say, Pig, when I look at Reynor on that stage, I don't miss the Jack Frost era. He looks better, no?
Yeah, I actually do. I do like the return to the natural hair color there. It was good. You know, there's different phases. We can kind of go pre-blonde, pre-icy haired Reynor and post.
You had colored hair once, no? When you were a pro gamer, I feel like you had a tiny face. You did some purple or red, didn't you?
I mean, a few years ago, I did dye it pink and then shaved my head off right afterwards for like a very short while. But
I'm thinking about the days where we all took you seriously.
When I was playing, I don't think so. Yeah, no. I think it was just varying levels of unkempt based on, you know, whether I'd had a haircut or not recently.
All right.
It was like your proper trash man pro gamer who just plays StarCraft.
No, you're doing yourself dirty there. You're a good-looking dude back in the days. I mean, you had a few more kilograms than you currently do, but other than that, you were not bad, Piggy.
I definitely didn't take too much care of myself, but I definitely enjoyed playing StarCraft, and I was, you know, we had some very cool team jackets back in the day. They helped make you look a bit classier. You'd have some nice sponsor logos on them. You'd look like you'd have a bit of class behind you, but of course,
some of those Piggy celebrations are still famous to the day, so it's all good. All right, Adept first for herO, no surprise there. We are, of course, expecting him to play Stargate. Anything else would be a bit of a shocker. Yes, there are some Protestants that like opening up with the Twilight Council, Resonating Glaive, Adepts, whatnot. But herO on a map like Oceanborn is 9 out of 10 times going to open up with a Stargate. If not more than 9 out of 10, might even be 10 out of 10 times. It just makes sense. I do think back of that game they had here on Oceanborn GSL. It was a short map, right? A lot of people look at that as like a 9-10 minute game. herO just kind of bopped him.
Yeah.
But Reynor was starting to find really good damage with those drop lords that he's very fond of in this matchup. And sometimes you have games that are over quickly. Think back of Clem against Stats earlier today, Ghost River. It's like, Clem bopped him. No, actually, Stats was incredibly close to stabilizing and potentially winning the game. And I think Reynor also had 2 incredibly close calls against herO in the GSL Codes where they look like short, one-sided herO wins, but they were actually kind of on a knife's edge.
Absolutely. And this matchup especially, when you're playing against herO, he will lean into his aggression. If he gets an edge, he's going to push it hard. So you get into these situations where, you know, a slight disadvantage can spiral very quickly. But this has been the no scout opening for herO. He's gone for the very quick, you know, just Nexus, Gas. He's able to go Warp Gate and Stargate into Oracle at the same time. But it's given Reynor a more chilled out opening. Reynor hasn't had the pressure of 2 Adepts in his face from the start, but he's going to have the scouting tonight with the Overlord. And we're going to see how well he can just keep up with herO's pace. As herO, whenever he does this greedy opening, it's only for a certain amount of time. At some moment, he will explode into aggression, whether that's 5 Adepts, 3 Oracles arriving at your base, maybe a bunch of Stalkers trying to cancel your 4th base. Reynor has to keep pace with him, and you can see he's still behind in workers. This is usually the moment where Zerg starts to catch up, but herO's being chrono boosting like mad.
Yeah, but we're getting there, right? I think so far it's a very standard, normal game. Don't think Reynor has anything to be unhappy with. herO is just making sure that his units are at home in the correct position. And Reynor fires up a pretty damn quick lair, Piggy. 4 minutes, 15 seconds, first lair on the way.
Oh, that's odd timing. He could be doing like, you know, the classic Dark build, like the Nidus Queen Zergling. He could be trying to rush out like Hydras or something like that. We'll see how it goes. Oracles come in.
Oh,
Nice
that's a lot of damage. That might be a dead Oracle. So close. 10 HP though. That's, I mean, losing 3 drones against a man like herO is not nice, but Oceanborn ain't Ghost River.
Yeah.
That's a lot of damage on the Oracle. And you mentioned it, if Reynor does want to do something aggressive, it does actually really help that one of these Oracles is now already so close to going down.
I think it's worth losing 3 drones, because that's not like super early damage. You're still up at 50 drones, you've got a 5 worker lead. Each time, if you're getting these Oracles in the red, you can see now there's, okay, red hit point Oracle has to go home. The other more healthy Oracles can still dive in and do a bit more damage. Adepts are now coming forward. Forge is on the way, as well as 3rd and 4th gateway.
I love it. 3 adepts through the right side of the center, 3 adepts through the left. In the end, they sync up here, but herO can obviously still shade in different bases. Reynor's Roach Warren is almost done, but not quite. Drops a very quick infestation pit too, as it does seem that herO is willing to commit. So herO is looking for a decent amount of workers. 2 is absolutely not enough to sacrifice all of these units. But if it's not the adepts, it should be the oracles, right? That's fine what they are looking for.
Nice defense so far with the positioning for Reynor. He does lose a few more drones as those adepts well positioned behind the mineral line. He's trying to focus down the drones and he does bring it up to about 7 kills before those adepts do go down. Overall, that's fantastic because Reynor has got a super fast infestation pit. What is that for? Do you think he's squeezing out quick hive? I mean, that's a crazy quick hive though, Roddy.
He's done this a couple of times. I forgot the most recent game he did this against the Protoss, but it was a mega quick hive on Golden Aura, and he ended up actually against Stats in the WTL Code S. He went for an ultra quick hive as well, had lurkers with seismic spines and adaptive talents at like minute 8.
Wow.
And then he's actually willing to be kind of aggressive with it, maybe a little bit past 8 minutes. But yeah, they are incredibly quick. However, herO, his blink is pretty much done. +1, 80% done. If herO starts moving out right now, I do feel that Reynor is going to have an incredibly tough time because, yes, he has a Roach Warren, but I don't think he has produced a single Roach. The Lynx don't have +1 melee or something. He's having a hard time getting a 4th base on the line, by the way. Did he just straight up cancel the Roach Warren? Did we just like not even let it finish?
Yeah, I think he needs that Lurkadin. Okay, Lurkadin does go down, second Hydra upgrade. Both 4th base attempts are being cancelled. hero's been playing a bit more passive, and then he's gone 8 gates. Yeah. He's going second Forge, Robo, no 4th base. He's going to commit pretty hard to this pressure. He will move across, and you've only got a few Zerglings to deal with this.
It's really bad for Reynor. I think Reynor is going to have an incredibly tough time ever getting a 4th base up. A few Lynx, it should not be enough. And there's a couple of Queens as well. They can maybe keep the Oracles at bay. hero's going to link back defensively. He's got 3 Oracle here. A decent amount of energy on these Oracles as well. Reynor's got 10 Hydras on the way. Hive is done. Lurkadin almost done. But I do think that herO should be able to get another cancer here. And a 3-base Zerg. I mean, whoever enjoys being a 3-base Zerg in this matchup, Biggie?
Normally not, but I do think it's acceptable because you've got the lurkers. It's just the cost is really racking up here. Every time you cancel a hatchery and lose a drone, that's 125 minerals down the drain. And that is going to stack up. I mean, lurkers counter stalkers really well. The problem is, the lurker spines has only just started. He doesn't actually have any lurkers morphed just yet. And as the 4th base keeps getting denied, yes, we're going to get to quick lurkers, but double Robo base already up. And it feels like hero's not even very committed. It's just a handful of stalkers.
It's also 67 drones only for Reynor, right? So it's not like, yeah, okay, 3 bases. My 4th is a bit later. At least I can saturate it immediately. I think Reynor is in a bit of trouble. Should be able to grab a few stalkers here. Grabs 2 right before the recall kicks in. Man, herO is double Robo. Even fires up a Colossus. Not totally certain about the Colossus here. I think Archons and Immortals should be fine. But hey, Colossus might be nice against the Lynx, against the Hydras. It's of course not really about the Hydras, herO. It's a lot more about Lurkers. And against Lurkers, I feel like you would much rather even have Disruptors than Colossus.
Of course, the one argument here is that because there's no Roach Tech, there's nothing to tank for the Lurkers. Having good splash damage like Colossus in there is going to be great for clearing out these units. Right now, herO getting pushed all the way back to his base, but Reynor is not building any workers.
Run by.
Yeah, run by gets inside the main base. I don't know if this is going to get much damage though. Remember that herO likes to leave his door open. It's a feature, not a bug. Colossus are coming out. They will be popping into the fight. Lurkers on the front line, but there's no support for them. I think this should be pretty easy for herO to clean up.
As long as we have detection, right? And we have all the oracles so you can drop a revelation. hero's going to have a field day with his army of Reynor, who has just been stuck on 3 bases for way too long as a Zerg. Queens show up as well, but that's a day late and $1 short. All 4 Queens will get picked up. And herO takes the commanding lead in game 1. And honestly, I think at this point can grab everything he has, run to the other side of the map, and close it out.
It's an odd build, this one, from Reynor, because I feel like if you're going to push with just like 6 or 7 lurkers, you almost would rather have a few more and push pre-hive and not bother with the upgrades.
All right.
Ooh, bit of a mistake there. But yeah, I definitely feel like if you're only pushing with 6 lurkers and no real supporting units, it gets kind of messy. And it's something where I think if Reynor droned his 4th, he could have played a longer game, but he's got a ton of gas income and not much else. The Zerglings have no upgrades, so the Zerglings are annoying, but they really are not the same power as a +2 melee Adrenal Zergling run by. Those are the ones that get big damage. These ones, on the other hand, not finding too much at all. That being said, hero's only on 3 bases, so there's part of me that wonders, hey, if you make enough lurkers here, can you drone back up and catch up in the long game?
Maybe if we snipe that final Oracle and a couple of the observers, because you can always leave it up to herO to play a fantastic 9 minutes, get yourself incredibly far ahead, be ready to end it, and then do something silly with the Oracles, deal with the run by. He needs to be a tiny bit cautious. He's going to have to respect the lurkers to some degree, because he is very zealot heavy, and sometimes zealots are amazing, sometimes they can be a little bit derpy. herO just goes for it. He believes that there really is not enough Zerg here to tank for those lurkers, and as long as the Immortals can just get in range, get on top, these Zerg units will melt, and herO once more takes the 1-0 lead. After a game where I don't even think this was really Reynor's plan. I just kind of felt Reynor lost a few too many drones, and the biggest problem was the 4th hatchery getting cancelled over and over again. Reynor probably felt desperate times, called for desperate matches. I'm gonna send it, and I hope I can surprise him with a couple of quick lurkers, and it just didn't work out.
Indeed. It is very frustrating when that 4th base keeps going down to the Oracles. Your creep spray isn't quite out there. Your anti-air mobility in the Queens is just not ready just yet. And of course, taking a fair bit of damage. I think the early game was actually quite good for Reynor, especially considering just how ridiculously fast this lair and infestation pit were. I do believe he could have maybe focused a little bit more on the droning up rather than being so dogged on just rushing towards the hive tech lurkers, because it felt a little bit forced when we got to this point. We just see such a bare army of lurkers, so little support, and if the Oracle Revelation's there, as you pointed out, the Zealot Stalk is just going to swarm that.
Yep, Immortals really helping out as well, and even that one shield battery on the right side of the Robos, right? Maybe if that battery isn't there, there is a world where Reynor can get on top of the Robos, you at least take out the Robos, and it can become a rather awkward game for herO. Well, that was just a pretty convincing hold by herO. Really did not feel that he was on his last legs, and he needed that extra warp in. Like, nah, he looked at it and he said, like, hey man, I've got way more, and there is so little to tank for those lurkers. Gets on top of it. Then obviously did a little herO there when he donates 2 Oracles and puts a probe. I love this, by the way, Piggy, because this is the ultimate anti-F2 trick, where instead of a Zealot or a Stalker, you put a probe on hold position in your wall off. Can be a bit annoying if units are being rallied outside of your main, but hey, he's got warp gates, and he built the Robos at the 3rd.
Exactly.
The only thing he didn't do, Piggy, is get a shield battery behind the probe. You do need something to heal up that probe, otherwise the probe just dies. But I really love that we can, as common Protoss men, always identify with this guy, even though he's arguably the very best to do it for the aliens. We love it, because he does some of the same things as the plebs and I do on the ladder. Representing Dragon Kaiser Gaming, it's herO.
His openings have been absolutely fearsome to watch lately, just on another level. It's such a challenge just to be on an even footing with that Protoss. Up here in the top right side, he has to play a perfect early game. Representing Basilisk in the right, it's Reynor.
Seems that the tunes are back.
Yeah.
Always good to see our boy vibing a little. A happy Reynor is the most dangerous Reynor, and even if the first game didn't go his way, he probably knows exactly where it went wrong. I think he maybe expected the Adepts to shade out when they did, but I don't think he was counting on 6. Because herO doesn't always do this with 6, right? Like sometimes he'll do it with a lot less, maybe just 2 of the early game Adepts. It's like 2 Adepts here, Oracles there. I think 6 Adepts was just a tiny bit more than Reynor expected, and he handled that all right, and he handled the Oracles all right. Of course, it wasn't for nothing, but it wasn't that he was so far behind. The biggest problem is that because of that move that I think surprised him a little.
You think it like got him a bit excited maybe? He felt like he needed to do something special, or?
I think then you kind of just forget about what's normally incredibly important of a CVP, and that's getting your 4th base online. Right? It's like, oh, you're managing drones, I'll cancel. I'll just take it there. It's like, wait a minute, I just have to double cancel it, and then when the Stalkers show up and you have to triple cancel it, it just feels that whatever you had in mind is ruined, because no Zerg ever plans for that.
Indeed. A nasty position he found himself in, and tried to fight back from there, but as we saw, those lurker rushes, you still need that 4th base up. And he did get the gases, but when you're on 65 drones on 8 gas, you actually got so little mineral income that you just don't have a lot of money to work with. And what a cute Stargate positioning here for herO. Wants to get that Oracle potentially or Void Ray across the map as fast as possible. And you can, of course, see Reynor on the right side, herO on the left, their first-person view. And Reynor, one of the fastest players, had an incredibly high speed and micro rating. herO, on the other hand, had one of the highest attack ratings. His ability to just attack, get in people's face, cause upsets, and throw them off their game is super high.
We have to give a little shout out to the herO wall off as well. For the longest time, we were wondering, herO, does he even know what he's doing? But at one point, you know, they kept on trying to bailing bust him, and herO just always scouts it. And I was like, is it just bait? And Reynor's like, yeah, the wall of is bait. Like, he knows it's not good, but it's pure bait. He wants you to think that, oh, he gets to surround immediately. Reynor, that is. One drone does fall.
Ooh.
Second drone does not fall. As the Adept was not able to get his shot off.
Very good for Reynor.
But yeah, basically TLDR, herO knows that this is not really the correct way to wall off. But he also knows that he's always going to scout whatever Zerg all-in they may throw at him. And if he can actually force him to all-in and he scouts it, he gets ready for it, gets the Oracle, Shield Battery, Void Ray, he's fine, he straight up wins the game. I mean, every top-tier Zerg out there at this point has tried to bailing bust herO, and he just always sees it coming.
And he reinforces the wall. Like, it looks so janky, but then he puts a gateway, like, to reinforce the weak point. Nice harassment coming in here for herO. Gets himself 2 drones and a sport trick. He goes for the third. So greedy. And that's a good defense by Reynor once again.
Yep, you can see herO shaking his head there a little bit as well. Like, tiny bit too much. And these oracles, if herO wants to do what he pretty much always does on Ghost River, and that is triple oracle into a Twilight Council, I don't even think he gets a forge with it. It's just pure gateway, stalkers, and he gets a pylon and a gate up in the center of the map. These oracles are incredibly important. He really can't afford to lose the second one either, because there is a chance that Reynor is actually going to play with +1 melee Zerglings here. Reynor knows that herO knows, but they both believe in their execution, and then it just comes down to who executes better. But herO's build truly relies on those oracles, the revelations, the stasis traps to keep that gate and the pylon safe, and obviously to keep your stalkers safe from the Zerglings.
Yeah, if you ever run out of Oracle energy, suddenly Zerglings are amazing hard counters to those Stalkers. It's the Oracles that make up for that weakness. Nice denial on the creep spread. Remember, creep spread very important for defending. Blink Stalker attacks later on as well. So the more he can slow that down, the better. The Adepts go very deep. A dangerous move here for herO, but danger is his middle name. He never backs away from a threat. Gets 2 Adepts down. 1 Adept does shade into the natural. The drones are going to try and fight that, and they will take it out, but another extra drone or 2 goes down. Oracle almost dies in the back of the base at the same time. Pretty damn good positioning by Reynor. Once again, he comes out on top of the work account.
The only thing that Reynor does not know is that herO's not doing what he's always doing, as herO's being mega reckless with these oracles, and I can't believe he activates Pulsar Beam just to gun down 2 more drones. Now he's got 2 ultra low HP oracles in the top right. I actually think herO should drop a Robo Wave probably real soon, because herO is doing something different, and Reynor was probably expecting herO to do the same thing as always. There is a good chance that herO just said after he lost that first oracle, no, I cannot do this build, because oracles are crucial, are vital to me making this build work, and if I lose the first oracle, I'm just going to play different.
And indeed, it looks like Reynor's going Baneley Nest rather than Roachhorn, so setting up for a potential Hydraling Bane game against what will be a charged transition. Immortals +1. Usually you go charge Immortal into this and a second Robo.
But you can see that Reynor is misreading the game a little bit.
Yeah.
herO's also losing track of what's happening in this game, as he's getting a second Twilight Council. He's probably not used to having a Robo and a Forge before a Twilight Council. So, I mean, these two guys are just so deep into each other's mind that they're confusing the hell out of each other. herO's wondering what's happening. Reynor is wondering what's happening. Now herO does fire up Blink, by the way, so he's not going for charge. And I'm lost Piggy. I don't even know why he's getting Immortals quickly, but maybe worried about some sort of a roach attack early on, but that's not what's happening.
herO is one of the most intuitive players in the world. I think he's figuring it out as he goes, Kevin. You can see, you know, cancels a second Twilight, starts Blink. He's kind of going for a little bit of everything, and perhaps he is thinking, oh, there's going to be an all-in, maybe a Queen Walk. I'll get some Immortals ready for that. But as we see, it's just mass Zerglings into a quick infestation. Reynor's playing a very standard style, but herO has taken a small worker advantage.
Yep, Reynor did manage to sneak out a few more drones. There's 3 Adepts shade into the third base of Reynor. Reynor once more ends up losing 3 drones. There's no shield battery. I don't know if the Lynx, by the way, caught a glimpse there of the double Immortal, but that would have been awesome to check in the future, because if you see 2 Immortals there at that point, Reynor should know. Hydras, at this moment, you kind of think Hydra Lynx, sure, Banelings maybe, yes, no, but pure Hydra Lynx should be fantastic. However, Reynor is going to fire up the Hive. That may not be bad, but it's also important that he starts getting units.
12 drones, Roddy! So greedy!
Yep, at this point, Reynor needs units, because herO's moving out. Blink is not totally done yet. He's getting a cannon and a battery at home as well, but we'll ignore that. That's useful against run-bys. Reynor needs to sneak out as many Hydras as possible. ASAP.
And groove spines. He needs groove spines and Hydra production en masse. As you pointed that out, I mean, we've got a 20 worker advantage for Reynor. He's just been way too greedy. And he did this late. Remember, he built a good 40-50 Zerglings.
Yeah.
Hasn't found any damage with them. He bled a few out trying to harass. And now this army arrives at his base on this short map, and he has got no safety precautions, an incredibly greedy position. If Reynor can defend this, it's going to take every single bit of oomph that he has. He needs to micro like a beast. He's trying to build Hydras, but they have no upgrades, Kevin.
Nope, they have no +1 missile attacks. Lings, however, do have +1 melee, and that is a lot of Zerglings, and the Queens are helping out as well. The Queens are going to step into a stasis trap, though. At least a lot of Lings are stuck. One of the Queens is stuck as well. Oracles are ending up dying. One Oracle remains with very, very little HP, but this is not actually that bad, because this is turning into a force field, and a force field is going to buy Reynor time to get those Hydras out.
And that's what he needs. He's actually up in army supply. Can you believe it? It's still not very high quality, though. He's got to be careful. You don't want to chase here as Reynor. If you lose this hatchery, it's not the end of the world. The Zergling's got the Immortals. Great catching of that in the picture-in-picture from our observing team. We've got the Queens and the Hydras trying to hang on. Reynor's still on 84 workers. If he can defend this economic advantage, he should be able to win this game. The Stalkers are getting pushed back.
I don't think Reynor really needs to chase too far off Dream, as herO blinks forward immediately, realizing that Reynor is retreating for a split second. Truly great micro by both players there for a bit. herO realizing that that's probably just a few too many Hydras, and the longer he sticks around, the more Zerglings will show up once more. So he needs some splash damage. Does not go for a Roboway this time around. Decides to fire up Storm. And Reynor does, I think, for the longest time, had a couple Zerglings on the left side. So he knows about the fourth Nexus of herO, and he knows how late it is.
Storm's on the way, +3 Immortal production. herO trying to transition into the next stage of the game, but he's very slow to get there. On the other hand, there's so much pressure that the Lurker Den has been delayed, but double Evo starting 2-2 for Reynor. That's melee and range upgrades, so he's really well set up for a long game. It feels like Reynor doesn't really have a rush here. Yeah, if he can get some creep out, that would be nice. If he can take gases on his 5th at some point, probably doesn't need that for a while, but he's just got a good work account. He's stabilized, his upgrades are coming in. He's got a few minutes here where he can chill out. As long as he gets over there before herO gets to, like, you know, mass Immortal Storm, I think Reynor's in a big advantage.
Yeah, we don't have any Archons yet, and it's very unlikely herO wants to move out without Archons. Reynor does need to be a tiny bit cautious, because he really doesn't have that big of a bank. He's looking for some freebies. Finds the High Templars here. That's the minus an High Templar, minus 2 more High Templars. And the Immortal goes down as well. So 3 High Templars and an Immortal, as now more Zerglings show up from the bottom side as well. Reynor says, yeah, Lurkers are great, but what if I can just get the job done with Hydras and Zerglings? And big, if it wasn't for the shield battery overcharge, all of these Stalkers would have been dead by now.
Yeah, and that was a great push for Reynor. He's got to try to get these valuable Hydras out, though, as they are very expensive and fragile units. Still, I think, overall, a very positive trade for Reynor, and hats off to him for catching herO with his pants down. herO will be kicking himself for not spotting the army coming across, nor landing the storms on those first 2 High Templar before they got taken out. hero's supply is not so bad, though. He's on 78 workers, he's on 4 base. You're making High Templar Immortal Archon. I mean, that's an army that technically can beat anything Zerg has on the ground if you take the correct engagements.
No overcharge there, and that's a completely different fight, and we'd be talking about game 3 at this point, but herO very quick to drop that overcharge, and I love some of the blinks he made there as well, because he's protecting that overcharge, and it was impossible for Reynor, his ranged units, to really get in range and gun that battery down. So herO lives to fight another day. He's getting more cannons, more batteries, and the Immortal count is going up slowly but steady. And yes, Lurkers are terrifying, but Immortals in high numbers also pretty freaking good, especially since +3 is already done on the side of herO.
9 Lurkers being more for Reynor. They're not ready just yet. hero's trying to push forwards, but it seems more like a poking army. The Mass Zergling comes in from behind and does actually engage, but the Zealots and the Storms clean up a lot of Zerglings on that bottom left side. Luckily for Reynor, Zerglings are very cheap units.
16 Lurkers at the moment, Piggy. That's a lot. We're not talking about a couple Lurkers anymore, a couple spiky boys. No, 16, a forward blink by herO, as Reynor is forced to cancel a couple of these morphing Lurkers, so it won't quite be 16 Lurkers.
This is so greedy for Reynor. He should not have got caught out here. Morphing Lurkers on the front line is a big mistake, and he gets punished.
Yep, he's in a bit of trouble. Do we have enough detection here, though? I don't really see it. I see one Oracle. Is it just that one Oracle? As the Oracle flies in, did it even drop a Revelation? Yes, it did. A couple of the Lurkers, but the Lynx and Queens, I think, are doing a really good job for Reynor, keeping this Protoss army at bay. Reynor's going to cancel the Lurkers on the right side just to get some extra firepower of these Hydras, and that is an absolutely brilliant call by the Italian.
Nice defense by Reynor. He gets a little bit cocky with his forward lurker morph, but that kind of baits herO into overextending. And you could tell the way he set that line of lurkers up, the queens with their transfuses, the lings and hydras coming in across the wide front. And look at that, he's loading a dropper lord with lurkers in the top, morphing more lurkers in the middle. He wants to force his hand now. He wants to push onto herO, and herO's only got a few units left. He's got next to nothing to defend.
Yep, Warp Prism and Immortal, fantastic against roaches, but won't really get a whole lot done here. That's just so much Zerg. Reynor does not have any Vipers, but what he does have is Zerglings with the Reynor Glance, Lurkers with all the upgrades. High Templars are incredibly exposed, and all of them are going to get surrounded and picked off. It seems that we are going to Game 3 once more here at the opening day of the ESL Masters Spring Championship. And what a best of 3 this is turning out to be between herO and Reynor. Fun stuff. herO's still going to do his best. As a tiny Zealot run by, he will never say die, but it just feels that at this point he's mostly lacking detection. And that is a really big problem when there are this many lurkers in your front door.
Wow, great angle with this fight though. Once he got the revelation down, he actually takes so many lurkers out. A heroic defense for herO, but he's doing it from such an inferior position that it truly is just fighting from behind. Even after that, he's got the mining denied in his main, in his third. He's only natural on fourth base for mining. And of course, more units are rallying in behind it. Cool, calm, and collected are things you would never call a herO and Reynor match. It's always vicious aggression on both sides from start to finish. And I'm so excited and happy that we're getting a Game 3.
Yeah, very fun game between these two. I did feel they both had a tiny misread at one point. Reynor went for a spine when there really was no need for him to get a spine. And yeah, herO not doing what he normally does, going for a quicker robo. And it almost felt that he confused himself a little bit. He's like, wait, where's my Twilight? Like, I'll get a double Twilight, did cancel it in the end. Still went for Blink. We had a couple fun battles. And I think it's the first Oracle that really kind of threw a spanner in the works for herO, where he's like, I can't really do what I normally do because I'm not supposed to lose at Oracle. It's just such a big deal.
No, going back in here is so unnecessary. And one more drone for losing an Oracle, and then the next two getting deep in the red. This push, I do wonder if he'd gone charge and went Zealot Archon instead with this, would it have just wiped Reynor off? I think it might have taken him out.
Maybe, but he did have a Bailing Nest, remember?
That's true.
And Bailings is so good against the Zealot charge opening. It's funny because that Stasis Trap looks absolutely fantastic. You're like, wow, that's so many units stuck. But it actually brought Reynor the time that he needed to get all these Hydras out. I think Reynor was okay with that Stasis Trap. Like, that's a proper force field. Zerg players normally don't have force fields, but we'll take it.
And this counterattack, what a bit of decisiveness there for Reynor. 3 High Templar go down. Yeah, he cops a bit of storm damage, but that was the first bit of splash damage that herO had built up. And I mean, he was definitely a bit overeager. This was a big mistake for Reynor initially, but his setup, once he pulled back, was really nice.
And I really loved how he had all the morphing lurkers on the right side, and he's realizing, I'm winning the fight. I don't have to wait for these lurkers. I don't need it with these lurkers. And he's canceling all the healthy lurkers on the right side because he's like, I need a bit of extra firepower on the Hydras. I love that, man. Those are the world-class calls in the heat of the moment. We see herO make them all the time from the Proto side, and it's cool to see Reynor making those correct calls as well.
He's showed that he has what it takes to get through the early game against herO, and I think that's one of the biggest tests. I mean, recent herO PvZ matches are often, are you impossibly behind by the 5 or 6 minute mark? And a lot of the top Zergs are finding themselves in that position, but Reynor is showing why, there was a time a few years ago where I remember he was beating herO series after series in quite a few big tournaments. And I was
different patches as well, different map pool.
Different patch, different map pool. But I remember it was the same thing in that he was kind of impervious to the Protoss openings and getting to a good position. A little bit too much special sauce on his Oracles in that last game. Time to reel it back just a little bit. In the top right side of the map, let's see if he can close this series out. Representing Dragon Kaisi Gaming in the red, it is herO.
A lot of love for herO, but of course a lot of love for this guy as well on the bottom left side. Representing Basilisk, hailing from Italy. Dallas, make a bit of noise for Reynor. Dallas is waking up over here.
Hey! Yeah, we're getting into the heat of the action now, The gamer hours have started. Up to this point, it was the crack of dawn, essentially, for gamers. Now we're getting into the middle of the gaming heat. The big players coming out on stage as well. We're starting to see more and more action. This was a no-scout opening once again, right, for herO? I don't think he sent a probe across the map.
Nope.
very efficient, very defensive, just like game one.
Very greedy.
Yeah, that too.
I love it. Like, that's so efficient. It's like, come on, Pig, what would you say on your own screen? you would not call it as very efficient. There was a time, by the way, that Reynor would often just fall off. I know it's bait, but come on.
Even when you wall off behind that with the gateway, it's still got a diagonal choke. It's really awkward.
There was a time that Reynor would actually try to take the gold first on LC against Protoss players. You mine out that mineral wall, send the drone over, and you can see that hero's checking for it. Maybe he's done his homework, maybe he's seen some of those games that I am referring to. But Reynor is no longer doing that. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of happy to see Reynor not doing that. I feel like that's something you can get away with against Protoss players when you're just way better, way quicker as the Zerg, and you can see what they do coming. But if you play against the likes of herO or MaxPax or any of these guys that are so quick, so in your face, I think spreading yourself so thin early on, gold base and main base, I don't really like it from the Zerg point.
It's an impossible balancing act because the Protoss can do non-committal Adept Oracle pressure, and you kind of need to react almost as if you're getting all in, right? You end up with like 30 Zerglings, like Spores and Queens, and you're like, oh, I have a gold base, but I'm on 30 drones. Protoss is on like 43 workers. The gold base doesn't make up for you being that far behind.
What do you make of herO's opening? herO is saying goodbye to the Stargate.
Oh.
It's not Oceanborn, it's not Ghost River, no Stargate. It's a Twilight Council and a Robo.
Dark Templar, baby.
Yeah, it seems like we're going to open up with a couple of DTs. I haven't really seen how many pros we have on the gas.
It's a 3 on each, he didn't pull off. So it's definitely the Archons lately, because he always pulls off for the Glaives, right? No, he's pulled off now. Oh, okay. Hello.
Yeah, but with herO, you never know, right?
Yeah,
he might be doing this, and he might let it finish, but still go for a Dark Shrine, or just go cancel it right underneath the Overlord. Really sick fake out there. I mean, at this point, if you're Reynor, you're also really confused, right?
Wait. He canceled Glaives, but he hasn't started a Dark Shrine, Kev.
And now he's going to start Glaives again.
Okay.
He's herO.
Okay. So he just wants to get the 4 gates, then Glaives, then Prism, right? Is the build order?
I really feel like that gave him incredibly little. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Or maybe he also feels that the Prism is not going to be that quickly to the other side of the map, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, Reynor's doing the old school response. No link speed, right? Did he cancel link speed this game? I think he did, if we can see the upgrade tab. Yeah. So he's going to go quick oversteer to deal with the Dark Templar, get out a bunch of roaches, and
might wall off.
Yeah, absolutely. Wall off the front. Last time he did this, it actually backfired because he didn't cover the Prism going into the main base. And if you don't cover the Prism warping in the main, then you don't have link speed, you just can't keep up, you know, you're going to lose money. But you just protect your 2 bases. As long as you save your 3rd hatchery from going down, this is a super efficient way of shutting this.
Sometimes the Adepts, they do pack a decent punch though on a hatchery, and before you know that hatchery can start running low on HP, and if you then move too many units forward to keep that 3rd alive, and then the Prism is in the main, like you don't need 12 Adepts with Resonating Glaive to kill drones.
Yeah.
If you can just sneak 2 drones into the natural or 2 drones into the main base, drones can still fall very quickly. I almost have the feeling that if you do this as Reynor, aren't you also like forced to just get Overlord speed and follow this up with Queen Roach Ravager aggression? I
don't think you have to. I think you can actually usually do this off a higher drone count, but last time I saw him do this, he did it off 44 drones. This time he stopped at 39, 38, and he's got to be careful of this rotation. This is the scariest bit. If your queens aren't ready there to greet that Prism when it goes into your main, and he starts like warping in, that's a problem. What's he got in position? The queens are almost there. He's got a few roaches as well. Good defense so far.
Yep, herO has to be careful there. Does find a tiny opening now with his Adept. Grabs 2 workers immediately, saves all 4. So far he's lost a single Adept. 1 Adept at home is also making it easier for herO to go up to 3 bases. The links were being annoying. Even without Zergling speed, the links can be annoying if there's nothing to save your probe there.
I think you can absolutely go back into link speed if you want to soon as well. But I think for Reynor, it's just like, what do you want to do next? You can, like you said, go for a big roach attack. But I think right now he's just balancing a mixture of roaches, roach speed, drones. And of course, we see Immortals building for herO. hero's making Blink as well, but hero's worker count is way behind. He needs this damage, and he is finding it. Those Adepts actually taking out quite a few workers.
Yeah, does lose 2 of them, kills 7 drones, but you mentioned this in Oceanborn, and it's so important. Losing 7 drones when you have 38 workers and you get dropped back to 31, that is going to hurt the Zerg for a long time. Reynor was at 58. Yeah, losing 7 is not pleasant, but he's also killing a couple of units, and he bounces right back to 58. This is not the same kind of damage as the first Oracle or the first 2 Adepts can normally do.
It's not, but it is still a surprising amount for just a few Adepts that aren't going to scale that well. So I got to say, hero's doing okay damage, but it's just like, look at the fact that he's been supply blocked on 78 for a while. He doesn't have that much supply behind it, but he's got a Forge. His Immortal count is growing. We do see an infestation fit for Reynor as well. So it looks like he wants to go for that Hive style. I feel like there's going to be a very similar push to the last game with like a set of Immortal and Blinkstalkers.
Yep, could very well be. I like that that Reynor's already getting a couple of Ravages. As herO with his War Prism is busy on the other side of the map. First entry dies, does drop a force build as he's going to recall these 3 Immortals. I do think that herO should always be fine here.
Yeah.
Reynor doesn't really have to stick around forever. I like the idea of poking, gunning down a battery, killing a couple of sentries, but there's no need to fight 3 Immortals off 3.
He transfused his Queen to save it against the Adepts at the same time, but he misclicks the Roach Ravager. He thought they would have continued left, but they turned right, and that's a massive loss. Remember, Reynor's being very greedy, rushing Hive behind this. This could open up a counterattack opportunity. Oh, this would be an absolute disaster. If herO just dives in and commits, he's got a lot of gateways finished right now.
And this is herO, right? The Warp Prism is here. What is going to stop him from warping in a whole lot of Stalkers? A supply block. That is actually going to stop him. Imagine if he warps in 4 more right now. But herO will still just go for it immediately. Reynor needs time. And he obviously would really need a couple of Ravages here as well. There is a Spore Crawler that could come out. Maybe put some pressure on the Warp Prism. Reynor forced to pull the drones.
He's got to pull back. He's got no damage. Reynor cannot be fighting with his workers with only 3 Roaches. He's got to back out of this fight because he's losing way too much of his meat shield. This is a very bad fight for Reynor. Now the Roaches are out, but he's already used up his drones that were there to sync up their damage. They were there to soak that up and defend. Reynor's now down 20 supply. The Immortals and the Stalkers are letting their presence be known. Reynor did such a cute counterattack, but he misclicked it home, looked away, did not realize that he pathed in the wrong direction.
The Roaches and Ravages turned around where they were supposed to just peek a little bit and then run towards the top left. Instead, they retreated through the center. And of course, if you make a mistake like that against herO, herO will punish you for it. He's going to blink forward. He's going to chase you down all the way to your side of the map. So far, a single Immortal has gone down, but I don't think it really matters anymore. herO's up 20 workers. He has taken out the 3rd base of Reynor completely. And Reynor was shaking his head. He knows that this game was actually going alrighty. And even that little poke with Roaches and Ravages, it wasn't all that bad of a plan, Piggy.
No.
It is just a misclick around the rock.